If it involves serial killers, psychopaths, and unsolved true crime, count me in. Thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of Buzz on the Case. As you can see, we're in a new place today. My kitchen is being occupied, so I can't, I can't bring this to you guys from the regular studio today. We're in the car. And I hope my air condition isn't like too loud, because I want y'all to be able to hear me. But anyway, let's get into the case. This case involves a young lady by the name of Dawnia Dacosta. Dawnia Dacosta, 21-year-old nursing student out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, went missing back in 1990. And, of course, let me start by saying I got this case off of Man with the Van on Investigation Discovery. That's where I get most of these cases from. So if you would like to, see the dramatization and all of that, if you would like to get into the case, it's there. If you have YouTube TV, you can find it on there. You can find it on Hulu. That's how I watched it, on Hulu. Anyway, Dawnia Dacosta, 21 years old, she went missing. She and her family came to the States in the 80s from Jamaica, so they're immigrants. And of course, they hit the ground running. Well, her mom hit the ground running. You guys have to get your education. You guys, stay in school, stay in church, get that degree, get a good job, all of that. So hence her reason for, doing nursing school by day and working at night. And she was also a very avid churchgoer. She was in church, like every time they had the doors open, Donya was there. She was there for Bible study. She was there. She taught Sunday school. She was very involved in her church. And one night in particular, she got off work and ended up going to church. She asked her sister to go with her, but her sister, she had other things to do. She wasn't going to be able to make church that night. I think she had to work. Anyway, when she left church, it was late. It was after midnight, and she ran out of gas. And if you are from Florida, then you already know how dangerous it was for her to park her car on the side of the road on 95. But that's what she did. She, it was a well-lit area, by the way, which was smart. And she was pretty self-sufficient. Her mom taught her, how to change a tire, change your oil, all of that. So she had a gas can in her trunk. She took her gas can and she went to the nearest gas station, which was just like 2 blocks up the street. And when she got there, 2 witnesses noticed her. Two ladies noticed her. And they noticed that she was alone, getting gas by herself. And she got her gallon of gas. And the ladies said to her, they even had an exchange, like, you out here by yourself? That's not safe. You should, make sure you're careful, do you need a ride? Are you going to be okay? And, Donya just assured them, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I got it. Thanks for, looking out, though. Good looking out, but I got it. On her way to the gas pump, both witnesses see this van pull up. The van pulls up. And see, let me get on a soapbox right quick. I don't do vans. I don't park next to vans. I don't, and especially the white child molester van. Like, you're not going to pay me to park next to no child molester van. I don't like parking next to vans in general, because it's just something about it. And my mother always told me not to do it, especially don't park in between 2 of them. But definitely, if one come rolling up on you, you give yourself a real good distance so they can't sling a door open on you and snatch you in there. So I would have been leery of the van creeping up next to me. And that's exactly what he did. He rolled up beside her. Hey, young lady, you out here by yourself? That's dangerous. So, do you want me to give you a ride to your car? You're going to need a ride to your car? And at first she says no. And she should have went with her first instinct. Ladies, always go with that first instinct. And not just ladies. That's for everybody. Everybody got intuition. So, yeah. Go with your first instinct. If it don't feel right off the bat, it ain't right. And that's your inner spirit man, letting you know this isn't safe for us. I'm gonna need for you to abort mission. Ain't no way in the world you would have been able to get me in that car. I don't care, sir. I'm a walk. I'm good. I'm a walk. And then I'm gonna let you go on down the street before I, continue walking to my car, because you're not about to follow me to my car. You stay vigilant. If it's nothing I've learned from watching these shows and diving into these little cases, it's you have to remain vigilant at all times, especially when you out here in these streets. Like, my head be on a swivel going to the mailbox. You're not sneaking up on me. I see you coming all the way down the street. I done saw you already, so you're not sneaking up. But she got in the car, and that sealed her fate. She got in the car, and nobody ever saw or heard from her again. The next day, her mom got up, and she was frantic because she had a dream the night before that her baby was in trouble, and so much so that when she woke up, her room was like in disarray. Sheets torn up, pillows over there, stuff just thrown about because of the fight she put up in her sleep. She said, I'm quoting her, it was the fight of her life, both of them. And her sister, didn't know that she didn't come home. Nobody realized that Donya never made it back home. And so now we have to go out and look for her. And so mama got out and got in her car to go and look for her daughter. The police, of course, were notified. And they went and, with them going out and searching for her, they found her car. And they saw that the car was, still where she left it. Hazard lights still on. No gas in the car. And so they checked the trunk. She's not in the trunk. They were aware that she kept a gas can, so they saw, okay, she ran out of gas. The gas can isn't here. She went somewhere with that gas can. Where's the nearest gas station? Okay, it's the Texaco 2 blocks up. So they go to the Texaco that she stopped at, and they ask the gas station attendant, so have you seen her? Did she come around? And the gas station attendant is just like, well, I don't normally, I'm not paying attention like that. Like, I don't really know who she is. Like, she could have come by. Of course, then the next question is, okay, well, do you have security footage that you can, let us look at? And, of course, it don't work. What be the point? What be the point of it? I guess it's a deterrence. People see cameras, they gonna automatically think they're watching. But 9 times out of 10... them things don't work, because I feel like they never work. Anyway, so now, now they're back at square one. So nobody has seen her. So now what do? Okay, we got to come up with we have to put her face on a flyer and put it out there and see if anybody knows something. So they do that, and they go around and knock on doors, and they end up knocking on the door of one of the witnesses. And at first, she's not interested in, looking at what they are trying to show her. And then she does take a closer look, and it's like, damn, I know her. I ran into her at the gas station. She was just at the gas station. And the lady, of course, felt horrible. And I would have too, because if I had an encounter with, a stranger in the gas station, and then the very next day you coming to me with said stranger's picture, and I know that I had an interaction with her, and she's missing. It's like, damn. I witnessed somebody get kidnapped and they didn't even realize it, because I saw that lady get in the car with somebody. So it was good that, their paths crossed. She and those 2 ladies, because they were able to go straight to the police and tell them what they knew. And they both noticed the van. And so they had the description of the van off with its color. One of them said that the color of the van was teal. The other said that the van was like maroon. And so they don't know what color van to look for, but they know that they're looking for a van with hope written across the side of it. So it's like, is it a church van? It's distinguished with that hope on the side. So they know what they're looking for with that. And everybody was looking for that van. And come to find out, they run into a van, a maroon van that has Hope across the back. It's a church van. They pull the van over, and of course, you know, they have to take it in and look at it. And the people, you know, the driver of the van and the passenger, they're cooperative. They give their DNA and all of that. I forgot. They found her body as well. They found her body a week later. And he dumped her like in an alley behind a garbage can or something like that, and she was wrapped in a shower curtain, a sheet, and her head was covered with a purple laundry bag. You know, they did an autopsy. She was stabbed 36 times. She was hit over the head with some object that left like a horseshoe mark in her forehead. And so, of course, now whatever that blunt object was, it's gonna be, they're gonna be able to figure it out by whatever the brunt of it is, like the shape of it, because it's noticeable. So that's they're looking for a specific weapon with that. And he also bit a chunk of her thigh out. Weirdness. So like he sexually assaulted her, and they found out that happened post-mortem. I don't understand that. So you're a necrophiliac, which means you like to have sex with corpses, and you are into cannibalism because you're biting chunks of meat out of her body. Just a sadist. A deviant all the way. No. Anyway, so now that they have DNA, they had his sperm on her. So now, they had to check those guys' DNA. Comes back, they're not a match. They didn't find any DNA in that van, so they let those guys go. We're still on the hunt for the van. And this time the detectives are like sitting off in a parking lot. And one of them notices, hey, there's a teal child molester van with the word Hope written across the side in maroon and a phone number. Okay, so let's figure out who owns this. They go and find out that it's owned by a church, Generation of Hope. It's the church's daycare. They have a daycare, and that's the van that they use for that. And, of course, now we have to go find this man. And they go and run up on him, and they, talk to Pastor. And Pastor, has an alibi. He's like, oh, it is my van. But over the weekend, I wasn't here. He was out of town. And one of his employees dropped him off at the airport and ended up keeping the van for 2 days. Who's the employee? Lucious Boyd. Lucious Boyd works at the daycare, and so now we got to look into Lucious. Let's run down Lucious's rap sheet right quick, okay? Arrested and charged with first-degree murder, acquitted. Arrested and charged for armed rape, acquitted. Arrested and charged with rape, acquitted. And so he got all of that in his background. And so now the detectives are like, so y'all gave him a job around children? Because one of those victims was she a minor? I think she was a minor. She was a minor. She was 18, something like that. Either way, she was a young girl, a child. And I'm trying to figure out how he got a job, why he's not in prison where he's supposed to be, or somebody's halfway house. I'm trying to understand why he never got convicted of nothing. How? Because where there's smoke, there's fire. Two people ain't just going to accuse the same person of rape and it not be the truth. Anyway, they look into him and all of that and find all of that. And, of course, they asked the guy, okay, so when you got your van back, was anything missing? And the man was like, oh, yeah, like my reciprocating saw is missing. Bingo, that's what he hit her over the head with, because the end of it has a horseshoe shaped ending, at the base of it, and that's what the print is in her forehead. So we got him on that. Also, a screwdriver is missing. That goes along with her wounds, the stab wounds. Got him on that. Oh, and also my purple laundry bag was missing. Bingo. Now we just need DNA. Now we just got to get DNA, and they check the DNA from those old rape cases to this one, and it's a match. So now we got to go on and pick him up. They go to his house, and to serve the warrant and check and everything like that, because the van, when they checked the van, there was no DNA evidence of Donya being there. And so now we just got to go check the house. At the house, his girlfriend was there, and she said, oh, he don't live here no more. And they check anyway, and Donya's blood is everywhere. So that's where it went down. That's where he killed her, at the home. He got rid of the sheets, she said. He got rid of the shower curtain, and she said that he threw away the entire mattress. They pull up the carpet, blood all under, in the floorboards and all of that. See, you're not cleaning up. You're not cleaning up when you just cleaning up the surface. When people doing this kind of stuff, I guess they don't be thinking it all the way through, because you got to take that carpet all the way up. Like, you cannot possibly think that you can just scrub the top and nothing seeped all the way to the baseboard. You caught. You are caught. And it wasn't no use and no need in throwing away mattresses or none of that, because blood is already in your baseboard. It's already underneath the carpet. You're not getting away with that. You're just not. Anyway, they get him and arrest him or whatever, and he is charged, with her murder and kidnapping, and the jury recommend the death penalty, and that's exactly what he got, sentenced to death. The justice system will work sometimes. It'll work sometimes, because this man is, they're looking at him for 10 other murders. He a whole serial killer. And I'm going to need for them to get him for all 10 of them. It's almost as if they've given up on it. When I was, after I watched the episode, I really want to read up on these people and see what's going on, what's happening now, because he's still sitting on death row. They are looking at him, a young lady by the name, let me find her name. First name, Patrice Austin. She went missing before Donya. She was last seen with him. She was last seen with him getting into a green Mazda. The green Mazda belonged to that girlfriend that he was living with. They saw the two of them get into a car together. Let me also mention that Lucious Boyd was a crackhead. Well, is a crack. No, was, because he ain't on crack now. Unless they selling him crack down to the prison, down to the death row. But he was a crackhead, and that ain't no excuse, but that explains all that depravity. It explains it all, because he was high up on the crack when he did what he did. But Patrice Austin was a known acquaintance of his, so they knew each other and they were cool. My neighbor making a cameo appearance. Anyway, they were cool, and they were supposed to go on a day trip, and she told her friends, she told loved ones that she would be back the very next day. They never saw her again, and they still haven't found her. There's nobody has a clue where Patrice is, what happened to Patrice. I'm sure we can all come to the same conclusion that Patrice is no longer with us. But people, want closure. So where's her body? Where are her remains? So that she can get a proper burial. So that people can, rest, so she can rest peacefully, and so her family can, have some sense of relief knowing where she is, and that she's in the ground, she's good, she's resting peacefully. But his ass ain't trying to give nobody that, because he denied knowing Donya, he denies knowing Patrice, and it's People have seen you with these people. What do you mean you don't know them? So you just gonna lie all the way to the end. Another young lady by the name of Danielle, what's her last name? Danielle Zacot, Z-A-C-O-T. So I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, but she went missing as well prior to Donya going missing. And she's a white woman, so I'm just baffled. You know, they don't waste no time figuring out what happens to the white girl. You know, so I'm a little shocked by that, but she's also missing. And they both of them, Patrice Austin and Danielle Zacot, both of them went missing out of Fort Lauderdale, the same area where Donya lived and where she, you know, came up missing and where he lived. I don't know. Danielle worked for an organization or a company that worked closely with his family's funeral home. Because his family is well known, you know, they own a funeral home, and so the people around there know him. And so she was, you know, a known associate, you know, that worked closely with his family, and she came up missing. She was also seen getting inside of a car with him and never seen or heard from again. I really hope that they find those ladies. It's, you know, a blessing that Donya's family was able to receive such swift justice, because Patrice and Danielle's family, I'm sure they're still lying in wait trying to figure out, you know, what happened to their loved one. It's sad. I really hope that they, you know, can find it out, can figure out what's going on, or they can get him to talk, because if he has been involved in more murders, it's time to go on and just pay for it. You paying for one, let's pay for them all. I mean, what's the worst that can happen to you? Death on death on death. Like, you already on death row. If anything, like, I don't know how this works, like in the, you know, if I got some lawyers out there, like, can they, like, if he was on death row, he's on death row now, if he was to be charged with one of those other murders and they were to give him like life, like, can they do something like that? Like, or would the death penalty charge trump anything else? Like, I'm confused about that, and maybe I just need to pick up a book. But if I got some attorneys out there that know anything about criminal law, please. And see, I was a criminal justice major in college, and look how much I know. I don't know what was going on with this car, but all of a sudden it just started making noise. But anyway, y'all, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby, and I'll chat with you later. Peace and light.